Greetings, welcome to Of Darkness and Light. This is Daphne Garrido. I'm gonna do a shot call. I was just taking a nap. I am a schizophrenic person who has to do that, especially when I reach out into the world and there are consequences of people focusing on me because I will continue to hold true to the fact that I feel energy coming towards me emotionally beyond me. And if you're somebody out there who's watching, who's like, wow, I want to help this person, but that's definitely delusional. They need to be on medication. Yeah, we're not friends. Because that's what's killing schizophrenic people is non-schizophrenic people telling them what's definitely not real. Because I hold it open as this is potential where I don't necessarily feel that anywhere except for as a projection from my subconscious. The last 14 hours have proven that false. There's really stuff coming at me. I had to take a big nap today because somebody was having an art love heart attack, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this into a nice big rest because somebody gets some of my art and thinks it's very fantastic, and I can feel that instead of it having reached people that don't have the literacy to understand the depth of its quality, despite my kind of superficial veneer. And that's the thing, is like my art and my writing is uniquely tuned to the modern mind in a way that a certain kind of artist is going to understand. But your average modern mind might be frustrated by, because they're like, wait a second, this doesn't meet the standards of your average book that I'm used to reading. It doesn't put me into that happy place of the same old English that kind of just gets me into a churning flow. She's not explaining visuals. She's not having all the characters talk to each other. And that's because I don't believe in the principles of having characters in written fiction, elucidating on the plot line and their emotions in ways that human characters do not do. I believe in grounded, realistic dialogue in most situations. If I'm writing Vicky Darkblood or Holy Sword, that is not grounded dialogue. If I'm writing for the stage, I'm writing for artful, poetic conversation. If I'm writing legitimate, grounded fiction in dark ages or like the eras of romantic chivalry, then the dialogue's going to read that way, right? But if I'm writing something that's in space, if I'm writing something that is spec fiction and I have the control to do what I want, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it feel plausibly grounded in reality. And what that means is I don't have characters talk out their ass to explain everything for the readers. And I have taken the challenge of crafting prose that is highly of action, sans visuals, with a high percentage of exposition that is still vertically pleasing in terms of being able to read down through it, except for where it's when it's not supposed to, right? Because there are stories like Wizard, where the first two sections, I guess that one is pretty readable. That's what I should say, is there are multiple ways to read my fiction, and then that's what I'm trying to. Some people will understand that is really profound. Is there are layers of literacy, acceptability to having understanding of my work, and your average spec fiction reader is going to pick up one of my books and they'll probably be frustrated by sensibilities, but they'll have complete understanding, right? But if you have somebody who's got a little more like dense fiction in their history, challenging fiction, transgressive fiction, then what you're going to get is you're going to see that top layer where it's like, wow, somebody could just read this straight through and not understand half of this stuff. And then you've got so much more. But then there's also a lot of tuning that my language has psychologically to the modern reader's mind. I'm playing with the way people expect English to be read and written, and I'm doing it joyfully and kind of like a terrorist as well, because I am being devious always and pleasing myself, and that's what it is. So yes, all of this to say, if you are a person who wishes to help, but you are like, hey, honey, you need to get off of this. You are channeling from your body's intelligence. There's modern conceptions in psychology of how we put together the ego, and we don't even really understand it, but we just listen to psychologists when they tell us to take medicines, and that's what we do. We do what we're told when it comes to schizophrenia because I'm scared of it. That is a non-courageous human being that would do that to somebody who is raising their hand and saying, hey, I've walked that path. I've made my spiritually non-denominational choice of right. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That would be a projection of somebody who is beholden to medication that they don't really need, that they know they don't really need, that they are then projecting on somebody who doesn't even need medication, who they would like to have medication to placate their own self-lie. That would be that situation if that's what's happening to someone out there. Just saying. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to call a shot on a story I'm going to write, because there's a part of me that has all this music queued up for my Dido v. Hannibal, but I can't fucking write it. So I'm just going to accept that that's not up yet, that that's going to be one of the last ones in my mythological compilation. And I'm going to go straight into the hottest thing ever written, and that's from my subconscious. Horrendous Maleficence is going to be one of the hottest things ever written. It's going to be about Lillith and Samael, and the complete lie of taking those archetypal characters of divine existence and raping them via myth into villains, and essentially warping culture, warping the understanding of and making of myth going forward from when those horrendous decisions were made to alter what history was, or what the history of myth was in some kind of proper Pythia, playful, proud place. Anyways, that wasn't a very good one. But what I'm saying is myth has been remade from the good old days. The good old days, good old days. And that's what I'm saying is you can't understand, you can't know. But what I'm saying is there is definitely myth out there that is uncorrupted in terms of talking about true archetypes of human souls, and that is great myth. That's Hawaiian myth, that is Greek mythology. I'll go from there. But when you look at the myth of the Garden of Eden, imagine this: Adam and Eve. Those are straight, cisgendered woman and man. Just imagine this: Lilith, male woman. Just imagine this: Samael, non-binary female. That's it. That's the answer. Those are 4 archetypes of human beings that are very real. I would say, you could say the problem with humanity is you've got Adam and Eve, right? Those are man. That is a male man and a female man. They're gay for each other as boys. Eves want boy butts, and they have masculine personalities. You've got these two, right? You've got the male woman, Lilith. You've got the non-binary female, Samael. Right? Oh, these ones are demons. They stood up for themselves against these. This is lesbian. We've got a lot of Eves and Samaels forced together, hating each other. Samaels and Samaels sticking it out together. Lilith and Lilith forced together because no one will be with Lilith, because Lilith is the one that is fucked most by this mythology. And she needs to forgive Samael because Samael is mentally tortured, growing up into a world where myth takes that soul and turns it against the fact that it loves women, women's women in male bodies. And so there are people out there who have major trans-misogynistic turf energy, right? Who I forgive everybody for their trans-misogyny, but I would love romantically somebody who holds that within them, if they are what I would say mythologically is an archetype of that female, non-binary Samael soul who has only been warped by culture to betray their own heart so deeply, right? And that's the thing. It's like we've just got a bunch of, say there's 4 main archetypes, right? And then you can say there's a duplication of those, right? It's like, are you matching with your right partner or are you matching with yourself? Who fucking knows? But I'm looking for a Sammy. I'm looking for a they Sammy, who's cool with me being the lady. But that's the thing. We have culture that teaches the Sammys to hate the lilies because the lilies like the womanhood that was thrust upon them unfairly, and the way that the Sammys get both told that they're a woman, but then pushed up because they have embodied masculine traits as men in really confusing ways, and face all these preconceptions about whether they're a man or a woman or everything, and everybody's judgmental of them and putting them in boxes. That has them have sexism against males. And so that's what we have. We have myth fucking everything. And I'm gonna fuck it back again with horrendous maleficence. Horrendous maleficence. Maybe there's a different title. We'll see. I don't think so. But it's gonna be about Lilith and Sammy. And it's gonna be really, really hot. And I don't know what it is exactly. I think it might be kind of fun too. No. Yeah, it's gonna be just straight hot. We'll see. We'll see what that means. I don't know. It might be fun. It's gonna be fun to me. It's gonna be fun to somebody. Some part of me. Okay, have a good one. I hope you all have a great night.